Welcome to ADHD Whiskey. My name is Matt, and today we're talking about the 2 bottles being released to Barrel King Gold members for the month of August. If you're new to the channel, it's important that I tell you that I am employed by Barrel King. I am their Chief Tasting Officer and Master Blender, so that's just me being transparent with you. Basically totally see-through. The month of August brings 2 new bottles to the Barrel King line, batches 91 and 92. And both of these batches are special, but for 2 different reasons. If you want one of these bottles or both of them after you finish this video, then click on the first link in the description below and become a Barrel King Gold member. That's how you get access to these bottles. First of all, batch number 91. Whew. Oh my, apple pie. Batch 91 rings in at 117.6 proof. This bottle is the result of a collaboration. Back in May, I made a trip to Missouri. I met up with Dan and Sean of the Bourbon Junkies and Ryan of Bourbon Outfitter, and we went to Barrel King and we started blending this thing with Jared. We dug through a bunch of Jared's barrels, tasted a bunch of things, and ultimately at the end of the day came up with a base blend that was then finished in apple brandy barrels later down the road. So Oh My Apple Pie is 6 to 9 year MGP, 21% bourbon, finished in stag barrels and Laird's apple brandy barrels. Laird's? Lards? Laird's? I don't know. The Bourbon Junkies shot some content on that trip and they made a video about it, posted it last week. Link to that video is right up there. It goes through the whole process of blending this batch. Yeah. It smells so good. A warm cranberry almond bread. Like you made a cranberry almond loaf of delicious bread, if that's a thing, and then you took it out of the oven and let it sit for like 3 minutes before you sliced into it. It's a warm cranberry almond bread. There's also a bit of craisin activity happening in here. You know the craisins you get in a bag, they're like shriveled cranberries. If that craisin were mixed in with some sunflower seeds and like a trail mix, like a craisin and sunflower seed trail mix. You in for a taste? Batch 91 has a palate that just builds and builds on itself. Very oily, but effervescent at the same time. Like if you put syrup in a soda stream. There's like a cherry cream soda flavor that happens right away. And then some cinnamon, like a cinnamon bark, kind of builds off of that mid-palate. And then a spiced apple ring on the finish. Like a spiced apple ring that you used to be able to buy in the jars. I think that they were made by Musselman's. Spiced apple rings that they discontinued because they hate everything that's good for the world. Oh, those were the best. That's the finish I get on the back of 91. Like this spicy, appley, syrupy, effervescent. Just yum. Just yum. When we first started building this blend, I thought it was going to turn into like this very stout cigar pairing whiskey. But now that it's gone through the apple brandy finishing and the bottling process, the final product is super good special sipper, like something that really hits right if you're looking for something both sweet and spicy. But I can really picture myself sipping on this after like a big delicious meal of food, like a dessert whiskey, like a dessert bourbon, like something you'd have after Thanksgiving. You had your dry turkey, you had your dry stuffing, you had your mashed potatoes with the gravy and your cranberry sauce, a little bit of sweet potato casserole, maybe some macaroni and cheese if you're into that sort of thing. But after that delicious family meal is finished, this is like the perfect ender. It's like the finishing move of a delicious family meal. If you're concerned with an over apple brandy flavor profile for this, definitely don't be, because it doesn't stand out like a sore thumb or a broken phone. I was gonna go the route of talking about slamming a thumb in a door, but instead I went with a broken phone because I recently dropped a bowling ball on my phone. Dan, Sean, Ryan, and Jared are like some of the most special people in my life. So that makes this bottle very special to me. It's something we worked on together, and the end result is awesome, just like them. Batch 92 is special because Batch 92 is the very first Barrel King release that isn't 100% MGP. Batch 92 rings in at 113.4 proof. It is a blend of low rye 7 to 9 year MGP bourbon One of those barrels being a double oaked barrel, another one of those barrels finished in stag. Blended with 11-year high rye, 36% MGP bourbon. And then Jared got creative and took one of the barrels that he received from Southern Distilling in North Carolina, a 4.5-year-old bourbon, and blended that into the mix. And like I said, resulted in the very first Barrel King blend that is not 100% MGP distillate. So the question would be, does batch 92 resemble Barrel Kings of the past? Does it maintain that Barrel King quality? And does it retain that Barrel King profile? And the answer to that is yeah, it does. One of my favorite things about batch 92, before we even get into the palate, the nose is evolving and changes. I started doing tasting notes for these two batches a couple days ago, and the very first thing I smelled on this glass when I put my nose in it was fudge, or like a cocoa. But as it sits in the glass, the nose kind of changes from a cocoa into a chocolate chip cookie dough. Then it starts to develop like this red citrusy, sort of like bright zestiness to it. And I had a hard time placing my finger on exactly what that was, but if you've ever had orange chicken, not the chicken part, but like the sauce, the orange chicken sauce, it changes from this fudgy cookie into this zesty orangey chicken sauce, like a candied orange chicken sauce. And it smells so damn good. It smells so freaking good. One thing about Barrel King bourbons that I can't say about a lot of other distilleries, every single Barrel King I've had, they do vary, but they all have this tremendous mouthfeel. The tasting experience is always awesome, and batch 92 is no different. The way that it hits the front of the palate, and there's this tingle on the very front of the palate, and then it just builds as it rolls to the back of the mouth, coats the cheeks, makes you turn into a little chipmunk. It's like one of the cornerstones of what Barrel King bourbon is. Always an amazing tasting experience. Once you get into the palate and start thinking about the flavors a little bit, if you ever had a Whopper malted milk ball, one of those Whopper candies, it's like that, like a Whopper candy. You get a little bit of that chocolate maltiness that kind of starts with a tingle on the front of the tongue, but the more you sip this, the more it turns into like a Tootsie Roll, like a friggin' delicious Tootsie Roll. Oh yeah, if Tootsie Roll made an edible massage oil, that's exactly what it would taste like. That's exactly what it would taste like. And you would never see somebody rush to get their massage license so fast. I would be elbow deep in backs before you could say, it'd be fast. That's all I'm saying. That's exactly what it tastes like, and I don't care. If you tell me I'm wrong, you're wrong. You're wrong, and I stand by that. I stand by that firmly. And at my current weight, it's hard to push me out of my place. So good luck with that. It's funny because the way that the nose transformed into that orange chicken sauce, that sweet orange chicken sauce, it doesn't really translate to the palate. The most I'm getting on the palate in that direction is like maybe a tinge of orange oil. Like if that Tootsie Roll massage oil had a drip of orange oil in it, just a little drip. It's not like this major note that's waving its arms and, you know, shouting at you. It's not sending up smoke signals or a flare, but it's just kind of like hiding in the crowd. The orange oil note inside of the Tootsie Roll edible massage oil that is batch 92 is the Where's Waldo of tasting notes. You don't really taste it at first, but if you really think about it and kind of like taste it a couple times and pay attention, all of a sudden there it is. There's that dab of orange oil right in the middle in its red and white striped shirt. Batches 91 and 92, like I said, are only available to Barrel King Gold members. Become a Barrel King Gold member by clicking on the first link in the description of this video. Thank you for watching. My name is Matt. This is ADHD Whiskey. Like I always say, keep your head in the clouds, but your mind on using what you have to make things work. Using what you have to make magnificent stuff. If only I could use that rationale in the kitchen. I feel like we have ingredients to make everything on the planet, but I don't know how to cook, damn it. I need to be more resourceful in the kitchen instead of just eating cookies. Probably need to stop eating cookies and start putting together healthier meals. I feed our guinea pigs better than I feed myself. Stay healthy though. Stay healthy though. Sometimes my brain doesn't work that well. And by sometimes, I mean, why is that pug wearing a unicorn on the blanket? A unicorn horn and wings. Huh. What was I saying?